Yeah, it's we just covered the basic concepts only, so it's okay. All right. So let's talk about composite class now. Okay. So we have talked about all of this. Let's talk about composite class. Okay. So if you say this one, okay, in this case, right, we are inheriting animal, right? Why did we inherit animal? Because we want to use this method here, right? Doc.speak. If we did not inherit, this will not work, right? But what did we achieve by inheriting it? What we achieved is that we got the access, the functionality that we can access this function. But that we could do some other way as well. We could, we don't really have to inherit it, right? Because making it composite is much better, much easier than actually creating the whole inheritance. Why? Because inheritance creates a situation of, blast of inheritance, people call it. Okay. So you inherit from one, or that inherits from another, that inherits from other, and it keeps on going down, down. Okay. It becomes very difficult to keep track of inheritance then. Okay. So let me give you an example. Okay. That example is of let's say class logger. Okay. This is the class. Its job is just log. Okay. Another class is log in. Okay. Cloud. Okay. This will log. Okay. But in cloud storage. Okay. We got another class. Okay. Log in. Okay. Local. Okay. Local server. Okay. Local server storage. Okay. And this one will inherit this naturally, right? We have written some functionality. Now I want to come up with new functionality. But functionality is filtered log. Okay. So I want to create a logger which has capability to filter as well. So what we will have to do? We will have to again create a class, okay, and create filtered logger. Okay. But if we just do this, it won't have the functionality of this, correct? So if I want to have filtered logger with cloud, then I will write filtered logger with cloud, and then I will have to write filtered logger with local, right? You see? And let's say on top of this, again, you get something. So this will keep on increasing. You see how the number of subclasses keep increasing, right? So this is the reason that if you don't have to actually change the class, then don't inherit it. Just use it. How would you use it? And this is what this example is showing. For example, in this class car, we are going to use engine, but we are not inheriting it. We are just using it, directly using it. Getting the point? Let me see some message in chat. Yeah. Okay. So for example, let me show you this composite code and let's run this composite. So I will write Python composite.py. So what is happening here? We did not inherit rotate. But you see, we will be able to trigger where is rotating. Python. Oh, see, where's rotating? How did it happen? I did not call rotate, right? I did not inherit it. Did I do something like this? I did not do. But still I was able to do because I am instantiating it here. Okay. So this is the example of composite class because we are composing it, not inheriting it, right? I'm an entrepreneur. I'm not inheriting wealth, but I'm creating wealth, right? If I want, I know that how to do it, right? But is it an example of inheritance for sure? We are again putting a start here. We are in overriding this start. Is it so? Can someone tell? This is a start. Why is it a start? We are overriding this function, isn't it? What's your opinion?
You're not overriding it. You're just because you're not inheriting the are you since car isn't a inheriting anything from engine start existing engine, it's its own separate thing, and then start existing car is its own separate thing.
Exactly, Louis. So this start and this start is different, right? It has nothing, it's just the name. So even if I change it to run, it will. What do you think? Will it run? It should run, right? So if I do run composite by, it will still run. So there is no illusion. There should be no illusion that it is overriding it. Okay. So that is the concept of composite, everyone. Okay. So it's always better to compose it than to inherit. Okay. If you really don't have to make changes. Okay. So there is a very good table here which shows the pros and cons of it. Okay. So, oh, Phil, this is a beautiful way how you have explained in chat. Do you want to come and explain verbally?
Yeah, I was just saying I always try to remember that's what's like sticks out the most to me is when I think of inheritance, it has to have like a relationship for that to make sense. So if it is the same thing, then it makes sense to inherit all of the attributes and methods because it's the same thing. But if it simply just has that, then maybe it's not really related at all, and that can be handled by its own class. And so, like the example with the car is we're using an engine in car, but a car is not an engine, so we don't want to inherit an engine. We can just use it like Chandra was saying, and then but with our earlier example with the employee and software developer, um, an employee is a software developer or can be, and a software developer is an employee. So it makes a lot of sense in that context. Um, but I use that a lot to help me figure out whether I'm making the right choice on should I be inheriting or should I be trying to use composition.
Very beautiful. I think this is perhaps the simplest way to make a decision on this. So thank you, Phil, for bring this idea. Yeah, I think this is definitely very good. Okay, is or has, that is the differentiating factor. Okay. Yeah. All right. So with this, I think um, we are coming close to the session, the tutorial session for today's lesson as well. Do you have any question? Please go through this table and learn the difference. And if you want to understand more and read everything has been written here in details if you want to understand. Okay. All right. So with this, we will close the tutorial session unless if anyone has any question. And oh yeah, and the challenges. Okay. So if you go here, okay, in this case, we have these challenges given here. Okay. So this is application users 2 and 3. They use the concept of inheritance, I believe. Okay. So creates 2 subclasses and that will inherit from user. You see, it is becoming hierarchical inheritance, right? So this thing you can understand here. Override the add method, right? So it is pure based on inheritance. So please go ahead and do this assignment, challenge number 2 and 3, and then you can go ahead and do this one as well if you want. If time permits, please do these two as well, though they are advanced challenges. Just letting you know now, these two are easy ones. Okay. All right. And I know that for some of you, this lesson could be very straightforward and you may already be knowing some of this. So you can quickly finish the challenges. And if you want to utilize the time, you can go ahead and utilize your time on your project or something, if there is something, anything urgent. Okay. All right. So with this, we will finish the tutorial today and let me stop.